Hi, welcome back to Flipping Pages Stirring Sauces. Tawada and gratitude to all of you who have liked and have subscribed and have shared. Tonight I am going to continue with the do's and the don'ts of relationships from my perspective. However, there is some serious business, a bit of history, and a bit of politics to get into before getting on with that. Ethiopia has never been colonized and will never be colonized. Babylon is trying very hard to rip Ethiopia apart, and that is the reason I'm wearing my Ethiopian and my Rastafarian colors tonight. Everything that I'm wearing is either black, red, green, or gold. You see, Ethiopia built a dam on their property. This dam will cause Ethiopia to be self-sufficient and independent in the true sense of the word. It will also cause probably about 10 other nations in and around Ethiopia to be more self-sufficient. Egypt has a problem with this dam. And this dam is also a royal hemorrhoid in Babylon's backside. So, in the Battle of Adowa in 1896, Babylon tried to colonize Ethiopia and failed. They tried again in 1935 and failed. They're trying again and will fail in 2022. Again. Ethiopia is not to be colonized. Ethiopia will not be colonized by Babylon. Well, it's just Babylon. I was going to say by Babylon or anybody else, but it's just Babylon because they're all Babylon. They're all a part of Babylon. And you see, Dr. Abiy Ahmed was elected by the people to govern the people. Many have tried to stop the building of this dam, but they couldn't because Ethiopia funded this dam themselves. So they don't owe anybody anything for this dam. And this dam is generating power, electrical power. And when you have electrical power, or power period, people have to come to the table and negotiate with you and negotiate fairly. Now Babylon wanted to take 85% of Ethiopia's gas, and Ethiopia said no, we're not doing that, and ripped up the agreement. Imagine that. They wanted to give Ethiopia 15% of their own natural resources. We are awake, and we're not going back to sleep. Things have changed. You're still working with your same old playbook, Babylon. But we have rewritten the book. We're playing by new rules. We are the head. We're not the tail. The tail no longer wags the head. So, America, Babylon, they don't negotiate with terrorists, but they make terrorists their bedfellows. And so they are backing a small percent of the Ethiopian population trying to overthrow the legitimate government. It is not going to happen. And so tonight I am in solidarity with the people of Ethiopia, and my condolences to the government of Ethiopia for all the innocent lives that have been taken. Women have been raped, children have been raped, women murdered, children murdered, and soldiers murdered in their sleep. This is what Babylon does. Babylon pits people against each other. That is their ammo. And when they divide us, we fail. Ethiopia, let no one divide you. There's only one Ethiopia. And that's all I have to say about Ethiopia tonight. I had a wonderful day yesterday. I spent the afternoon with my sister Heather and my mother. My sister Heather is awesome. 1 minute, she was a professional registered nurse. And the next minute, she was back to being my sister. And my mother, she called me by name, the name that she most frequently uses to refer to me. I took my mask off and I said, I'm here, it's me. And she opened her arms and welcomed me into them as my mother. She didn't see me as her teenage sister yesterday. She saw me as her daughter. And to me, that was priceless. Yeah, my mother recognized me. The last few times that I've seen her, she thought that I was her older sister. And she thought that we were teenagers. And her and I had conversations about people who have been dead long before I was born. But yesterday was different. We sang, and my sister danced, and my mother and I and my sister, we cracked jokes and sang, and it was wonderful. And so shout out to my sister Heather, you're awesome. Shout out to my sister Denise, you're also awesome. And shout out to some other people. You know who you are. All the P's. And tonight, the topic is the do's and don'ts in a relationship. And I want to say two things before we start. $500,000 in any currency is a lot of money. And when a man mimics your body language and copies your words, he's manipulating you. I'm going to start out with 3 real situations. A past acquaintance of mine was married to a diamond who worshipped her. And she bumped into her first love on Facebook, started corresponding with him. Around the same time, her diamond lost his job, and she used that as an excuse to divorce her diamond. I don't think that's the real reason she divorced her diamond. She divorced her diamond because she wanted to rekindle what she had with her piece of glass. So she went off to Jamaica. She married him. And her friends and acquaintances asked her not to go to Jamaica and marry this piece of glass. She didn't listen to us. She did it anyway. And as soon as she came back to Canada, she started the paperwork to bring him here. Some things that she thought was cute about his behavior, the rest of us found alarming. Anyway, she decided that she was going to go to Jamaica to surprise him. It was either her birthday or his birthday. I can't remember for certain. But anyway, myself and others advised her not to go to Jamaica and surprise him. She didn't listen to us. When she walked into her own bedroom, she heard noises and saw feet on shoulders. It would have been bad if it was a woman who had her feet on her husband's shoulders. But her husband was penetrating a man. How does one recover from that? Needless to say, she came back here and divorced him in a hurry. Another story, true story. A woman met a man online, and then she travels to Jamaica to meet him and start a relationship. And after that visit, she comes back here and decided that she would buy land with him and build a house. She went to Jamaica several times while the house was being built, and it was built to the point where he was living in part of it, and she had a key to the house. She went to Jamaica to surprise him. When she opened the door to her house, she was greeted by her man's pregnant woman who attacked her. Another woman meets a man online who tells her that he wants someone to have his back. She was just interested in friendship, really, because he contacted her out of the blue. And for a while she didn't respond, but then she did respond. And within weeks of communicating with her online, he tells her that he's falling for her. Then maybe a week later, he tells her he loves her. She took her time to try to get to know him. She was not very trusting of him at first. But then when she realized that he was very open to answering her questions, he gained her trust. He was very disarming. He was supposedly a single dad. He was working 2 jobs and living in a 1-room board house with his child. Even though he was working 2 jobs, he didn't seem to have enough money to support himself and his child. When she inquired as to why he didn't have enough to support himself and his child, he talked about an accident that he had had, which caused him to use all of his savings to repair his car and pay bills relating to the accident. He talked about the fact that he owned a piece of land that he had cleared and lined out in order to build a 1-bedroom concrete house because he wasn't comfortable where he was staying. But because of the accident, those plans were put on hold. She volunteered to help him get started with the foundation and all of the tools and materials to get the house out of the ground. She further found out that the 1-bedroom board house he was living in was built by his father, and he is no longer alive. It was in need of some repairs because some of the boards were rotting and the floor needed repairing. She decided to pay for the repairs and have the house moved to his property so it could be incorporated into the new house. He didn't own the property that the board house was on. By this point, she had fallen head over heels in love with him and decided she was going to build a future with him because he was talking marriage. He introduced her to his brother and sister, his child, his aunt, and his friends. She supplied him with enough food to feed him and his child for a year. She bought him and his child entire new wardrobes and stocked his business with most of what he needed in order to make his business successful. She provided him with, she offered to provide him with $250,000 Jamaican in goods to sell. 1/4 of the profit would go to him, 1/4 to her, 1/4 to his child, and 1/4 towards building of the concrete house. She did all of that for them. And then she asked him for one favor. She asked him to drive her somewhere to drop off a gift for a friend. He freaked out about the requests that she made and refused to take her on a half-hour drive to deliver a gift. He showed no interest in the supplies, which would have sold themselves. $500,000 later, the concrete house has not broken ground. He is still living in the board house, which is only partially repaired. The reason he never had any money is because he was actually living with another woman in her house, where he is paying all of the bills to support her and her brothers and other family members. She doesn't cook for him. She doesn't wash for him. She doesn't clean for him. She doesn't work, and she cheats on him. He took food out of his child's mouth to put in the mouth of this woman who is a fat, lazy person who sits on her ass and doesn't do anything. He forgoes repairing the house which he lives in. That is taking a roof from over your child's head and keeping one over what I view as a liability. He also passes on building his own house in favor of living under someone else's roof, who throws him out when she is ready and physically abuses him. Nothing that person who is out $500,000 says or does is going to be as bad as what is going to happen to him when the Creator is ready to deal with him. Karma is a biatch, and she never forgets an address. The woman has moved on and is living her best life. So ladies, before you decide to fall in love with your heart and not your brain, think twice. And when somebody targets you and contacts you out of the blue and whispers sweet nothings to you, take it with a grain of salt. There are some good men out there, but they're married to good women. They're married to good women. So I wouldn't suggest you go and try to find one. But anyway, the do's and the don'ts of a relationship. If a woman asks you to do a favor for her and it doesn't involve robbing a bank or committing a crime, don't make a big deal out of it. If you're not able to do the favor, just say to her, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you. Do not chase a woman for 3 months and pretend that you want the same thing that she does, when in fact you don't. Do not sleep around with multiple women where she works, especially when those multiple women are sleeping with people in the same facility. Don't make promises to a woman you don't intend to keep. Don't use her money to support your other woman. Make love to your lover. Ramming your lingam in her as hard as you can and as far as you can is animalistic and juvenile. Ease in all the way, gently. You will find it more pleasing for both of you. Foreplay is the best part of making love or ahab. Penetration is the bonus. If you have to force yourself to make love to a woman, you shouldn't be with her. When she confronts you with the truth, don't deny it. You kill any chance of working things out when you do that. Ladies, a man's wallet and his phone is private. If you didn't put something in it, don't go looking through it. In looking, you are saying, I don't trust you. And if you don't trust your partner, you shouldn't be with him. Don't eavesdrop on his conversation. If he wants you to know what his conversation was about, he will tell you. And when he gets a phone call, don't ask him who was that. The phone call was for him, not you. And the same thing goes for you, men. If you cannot be with a man in his space, it is because someone else is already occupying his space with him. Men, do not visit your side chick on your way to see your main chick. And if you do, wash your lingam before you put it inside your main chick. What you don't want for yourself, don't do it to the person in your life. If you truly love a person, that love will automatically be extended to their children, especially if those children are young. So when a woman tells you that he loves you, or a man tells you that he loves you, and then he proceeds to mercilessly abuse your child, she doesn't love you, he doesn't love you. If they did, they would never hurt your child that way. Never. And they would never take their anger at you out on your child. Makes me angry to know that somebody's doing that. When you meet a woman who is still mourning a breakup and she tells you that she needs time, the worst thing you can do is be cold and insensitive. She's going to close the door in your face because it shows that you're selfish. Tell her to take all the time that she needs, and tell her that when she's ready to move on, you will be there for her. Don't crowd her. Let her reach out to you. And when she does reach out to you, if you are available and still interested in her, pamper her. If a man decides to leave, help him pack. Do not beg him to stay and shed ugly crocodile tears. Let him leave with his dignity, and you keep yours. Walk him to the door. Smile and wave when he leaves. His last memory of you will be so dignified. When he thinks of you, that will be the memory that he has. You standing at the door waving at him and smiling. If you want to go cry crocodile tears later on, go cry crocodile tears in private. But let him leave with his dignity and you keep yours. Don't argue over material things unless your mother or grandmother gave it to you from the set that was used in their wedding. Let him keep the material things and the bad memories that go along with them. You will pick up something and remember the joy you felt when he gave it to you, or when you gave it to him. And then you will remember the pain of things ending. Who wants that pain? If a man can walk away from his children and make excuses as to why he has no relationship with them, he will do the same thing to you. Take a long walk in the opposite direction from a man who has no relationship with his children. Real men will stand in front of a judge and say, hell no, she's not getting full custody. I want shared custody with my children. A lot of men these days walk away from their responsibilities as fathers. And believe it or not, judges are impressed when a man pays his child support without being told to do so. And when a man is prepared to stand in front of the judge and say, hell no, that is my child, and I am going to be in that child's life. I know several men who have done that, and you know what the judge did? The judge reduced the amount of child support that they were voluntarily giving to their exes. Why? Because those exes dragged them into court, wasted everybody's time seeking more than they were getting when the man was being more than reasonable in what they were giving. So, if a man uses the love that you feel for his child to keep you interested in him, run. He will use you the same way for material gain. If he constantly takes and doesn't give him a wide berth. If a woman gives you something and it wasn't quite what you wanted, thank her and use it until you can obtain what you really wanted for yourself. If she buys you a dozen shirts and only 6 of them fit, don't complain that only 6 fits. It is 6 more than you had. Be grateful for the 6 and give the other 6 to someone who is less fortunate. Ask yourself, has that woman ever told me thank you? If the answer is no, the relationship is unbalanced and you need to start contributing equally or take a hike. I hear people say in a relationship you have to give. It's a 50-50. No such thing. In a relationship, you give 100% and your partner gives 100%. None of this 50-50 garbage. If you're working 2 jobs, buying or cooking your own food, doing your own laundry, cleaning your own house, why are you buying food for her and giving her all of your money? She sits around all day on the internet, watch TV, and cheats on you. She's not an asset. That is a liability and a no good leech. Take her to the dumpster and leave her there. Our pum pum not that good. Leave her at the dumpster alive. Don't put her in it. Just leave her there. Hopefully she'll crawl in. If she squeezes her toothpaste from the end, Don't squeeze it from the middle. Better yet, get your own. Don't use your woman's money to support your side chick. Don't try to use your woman to shop for your side chick. Don't try to use your woman to furnish your side chick's house. Do not use your child for material gain. Do not stand in front of a judge and ask for full custody of your children. You produce them with your ex. It is selfish to do that. Do not use your children to hurt each other. The child is the one who is hurt in the end. And you or that child ends up paying some therapist a lot of money in the future. If a child's father was not sexually assaulting his daughter while things were good between both of you, he doesn't just become a child molester because you both screwed up your lives, screwed up your marriage, and you're no longer together. If I was a judge and a person came into my courtroom and told me they wanted full custody of that child and try to tell me that that person is an unfit mother or unfit father, or that father is sexually molesting the child and that sexual molestation only started after you broke up, I'd throw you out of my courtroom. Just like how you want to see your child first thing in the morning and last thing at night before you go to bed, so does your partner. If you can share a house so that your children are close to the both of you. This my weekend, your weekend, dropping off, picking up garbage, it is stressful and it takes time off your life. My second marriage has been over since 2008. But if you saw us together, you wouldn't know it. It is not pretense. It is self-discipline and putting my children's happiness first. We have house rules, and I have not and will not break them. My children are happy and stable. I am raising boys, and they respect me. The only man they've ever seen me with, from a relationship standpoint, is their father. And I can't take him on my journey either. I will not introduce my children to a man unless I decide to make him a permanent part of my life. If I have dated you, if I have dated your friend, don't look me. I am not eating from that table. Your friend shouldn't know what I look like naked. So don't look me if I've dated your friend. If you're involved with someone on any kind of romantic level, don't look me. I would rather be alone than knowingly eat off of that table, because that table belongs to someone else. I like my own table. And lately, a lot of men have been approaching me and offering me a side table. I don't want a side table. I deserve a main table spread for me. I am not interested in sharing somebody else's man. And I am quite happy. So don't make me that offer. And don't be upset when that offer is rejected. Like my father said to my sister, there are good men out there, but I don't suggest you try to find one. And yes, there are good men out there, but you know what? They are the type of men that women don't usually look at, because they're usually diamonds in the rough. And sometimes you dig this diamond out of the ground and you smooth out the rough edges and you shine it up and it sparkles. And when these women who wouldn't give these men a second look see these men on your arm looking like $1,000,000 out of nowhere, then come like Dranko, a pitch pan in shoulder, a pitch pan in head. Yeah. So when you find your diamond and you clean him up, treat him with the utmost respect. And whatever you used to do, don't stop doing it. Keep your diamond interested in you. And as long as you treat your diamond with respect, your diamond will treat you with respect. Be honest with your diamond and trust your diamond, unless your diamond proves to you that he cannot be trusted. Because sometimes those nice shiny diamonds turns out to be cubic zirconias. I wish you Baruch and Shalom.